This is the 23rd video of a series studying the 101 Laws of the Success Mindset Code. In this video, we will explore the 23rd law, the law of overcoming limits. Many people move through life believing that their biggest limitations are external. Not enough money, not enough opportunities, not enough connections. But as the years pass and experience accumulates, a revelation becomes clearer and clearer. The most powerful limitations are not outside, but inside. They are built in the invisible architecture of the mind, made of fear, doubt, and old beliefs that we never questioned. The law of overcoming limits reminds us that the ceiling above us is often self-constructed, and that prosperity begins when we become architects of expansion rather than prisoners of our own mental walls. For those seeking financial improvement later in life, this law becomes even more crucial. Because at this stage, many people carry not only dreams, but also disappointments, past failures, accumulated mistakes, and the invisible weight of comparison. Breaking limits is not just about action. It's about identity. It's about becoming someone who is no longer satisfied with the narrative of impossibility. Throughout life, limits begin subtly. Maybe someone once said you weren't good with money. Maybe you witnessed financial instability at home. Maybe you failed in business once, and that experience created a belief, I can't do this. Over time, these ideas gain authority inside the mind. They no longer sound like thoughts. They feel like truth. But they are not. They are memories pretending to be destiny. The law of overcoming limits invites you to confront these internal illusions. Prosperity after the age of maturity is not about having more talent, more energy, or more luck. It's about refusing to let past versions of yourself dictate the future you're still capable of building. Some people spend years believing limits are real simply because they never tested them. They never took one more step. They never tried one more strategy. They never asked one more question. But when you challenge what you believe is impossible, you discover that the border of your capability was drawn in chalk, not in stone. Imagine Emma, who dreamed of opening her own restaurant. She initially believed she lacked capital, experience, and credibility. But instead of surrendering, she started small. She studied. She asked questions. She connected with people who succeeded before her. The process was uncomfortable. She faced rejection. She faced doubt. But each time she stretched her belief, the world stretched its possibilities. What once was fear became growth, and what once was limitation became achievement. Now consider Mark, who had the dream of launching a startup. He also carried doubts, fears, and insecurities, but instead of acting, he froze. He waited for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect certainty. He watched time pass, opportunities evaporate, and motivation fade. His limitation was not lack of resources, it was lack of decision. Overcoming limits begins with willingness, not perfection. After a certain age, society whispers that the best years are behind you, that new beginnings are risky, that financial breakthroughs are improbable. But this whisper is a lie dressed as caution. Some of the most iconic successes in history happened later in life. Experience brings pattern recognition, wisdom brings discernment, and maturity brings a new kind of hunger, not reckless, but strategic. The law of overcoming limits reminds us that financial growth is not an age-dependent formula. It is a mindset-dependent reality. To break limits, you must first identify the invisible prison you built for yourself. What belief holds you back? What story about your financial ability plays in your mind? What memory defines your confidence? Awareness is the first hammer that cracks the walls. Next, challenge the belief directly. Ask yourself, What would happen if I'm wrong about this limit? Most of the time, the answer is liberating. You will find that fear thrives in silence, but loses power under questioning. Then, step into discomfort. Prosperity never grows inside comfort zones. Comfort gives safety, but growth demands friction. Your financial breakthrough requires action that feels unfamiliar. Make the phone call, ask for help, study a new skill, start something small. The body resists, but the mind expands. When you stretch your comfort zone repeatedly, you become someone who sees possibilities where others see obstacles. Goal setting becomes your compass in this journey. But not timid goals, bold ones. Big goals activate innovation. They force you to learn faster, think deeper, and reorganize your days. They demand new behaviors. Ambitious goals transform identity. Small goals maintain comfort. Big goals challenge limitation. And remember, the journey will not be linear. You will fall. You will doubt. You will face months of slow progress. The difference between those who achieve prosperity and those who don't is not talent. It's resilience. Every financial obstacle contains a lesson. Every delay builds emotional muscle. The ability to rise again is the greatest limit-breaking tool you possess. As you embrace this law, ask powerful questions. What belief about money no longer serves you? Who do you know that overcame what you fear? What small daily action would push your boundaries? What new perspective turns your obstacle into opportunity? These questions are not just mental exercises. They are constructor tools. They build the scaffolding of a new life. Overcoming limits is not an event. It is a daily practice. It's waking up and refusing to repeat yesterday's limitations. It's expanding your identity one courageous action at a time. Look at people who transformed financially later in life. They didn't suddenly become smarter. They became braver. They became more strategic. They became more willing to feel discomfort. Prosperity doesn't demand perfection. It demands progress. The moment you stop reinforcing your limits, you begin reinforcing your potential. Ask yourself, what limit is quietly stealing your prosperity? What story is holding you back? Your life is waiting on the other side of that question. And the most exciting truth about this law is simple. Limits are not final. They are invitations. They mark the doorway to the next version of you. The real question is, will you push through, or will you stay behind the line your fear drew? If you choose to break through, new possibilities appear. New resources emerge. New opportunities notice you. Because the moment you act like someone without limits, the world responds accordingly. Remember, there are no limits except the ones you place in your own path. Your age is not a barrier. Your past is not a sentence. Your limitations are not destiny. They are illusions waiting for your decision. So today, choose expansion. Choose courage. Choose to challenge the invisible. Your financial transformation belongs to those who dare to expand beyond the borders of comfort, doubt, and old identity. Your potential is larger than your history. The future is not interested in excuses. It rewards those who break their own ceilings. And now, ask yourself, what limit will you break next? Because the moment you move beyond the known, prosperity follows. If this content resonated with you, take the next step. Check out the link I left below in the comments. And if this message helped you, give it a like, share it, leave your comment, and don't forget to subscribe with the bell on.